benefit of the doubt, assuming as true what this witness is saying, it's an A and B on a dog. It's assault and battery. He punched the dog. He didn't torture or kill or maim. So I don't even think by a probable cause standard that there's any justification for binding over on this 10-year felony, which would be comparable to the bind over on the GBH judge. I think that, quite frankly, on this record, it's a bit ridiculous. So I'm asking the court to decline to bind over on that. With regard to witness tampering or interference, judge, the claim was that my client called his own cell phone and that the witness picked up.
Well, he knew he wasn't calling himself.
He knew he wasn't calling himself. However, people can call their phones from jail for various reasons. I don't think that's speculative to see if your phone is still working, to see if it's operable, to see who has access to it. Perhaps someone stole it, who knows? But all of that to say is her testimony was that he said, please don't move. Again, Judge, I don't even think it's a question of fact as to whether that rises to the level of witness tampering. This is not a situation of, non-stop phone calls, threats, or things of that nature. It's very sparse. And so for those reasons, Judge, I'm asking the court not to add those 2 counts with regards to the remaining counts. We'll object to that argument.
All right, Mr. Leckie.
Briefly, when it comes to an animal, I mean, it's not just one party. Sat on top of the animal.
You can stop. You're not going to get me there.
And on the witness intimidation as itself, she did say there were multiple phone calls.
2. I think she said 2.
We didn't ask.
No, you're right.
We didn't ask how many there were.
Duchesne said 2.
But there are multiple. I know it's not on this record, but more than once where he's saying those statements. All it takes is once in this people's possession to effectuate some kind of tampering. He literally stated, don't come to court.
Do the jury instructions require any kind of a threatening language or intimidating language?
That's where I was at. They don't specifically say, so, because there's multiple, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll give you a chance, counsel.
Instructions that involve, there's interfering, there's intimidating, there's threatening. I am specifically going for interfering with witness intimidation, which specifically requires that intended to impede, interfere with, or prevent friction. I think
a begging phone call fits that definition, Mr. Bukowski. But I'll give you a chance to argue that.
I just, can you clarify which tactic you're relying on, just like the statute?
So it's technically MCL 750122, and then it's subsection 3, B and C, but the criminal jury instruction is 37.5.
Well, if we're looking at the same language,
Attorney on these 2 companies.
people that represented, that they're pursuing it under subject
Older, I
3,
think.
and yes, that's required. A person shall not do any of the following by threat or intimidation. And discourage or attempt, etc. So if that's the language that the people are in fact relying on, no, I don't think there's been any evidence in this record concerning any threats or intimidation. So simply a statement, don't come to court, alone is insufficient to justify a binding over on this subsection statute.
And Judge, if I may, I'm referring to section B or C, which requires an influence or an attempt to influence or an encouragement or attempt to encourage.
And that's fair. It's predicated on a person shall not do any of the following by threat or intimidation. So, I mean, it's.
All right. Somebody bring me the language, because obviously you 2 aren't reading the same thing. No, I don't mind. Yeah. Or just give me the number. I got the jury instructions right here.
It's 750, or I don't know,
That's all right. I'll find it.
I just had the jury instruction.
750.
Hold on. He's got it on paper. I love paper.
I know, Judge. That's why I always have to be clear.
Well, but does that clarify that it's under subsection 3?
So
It doesn't.
it says criminal jury instruction 37.5A, interfering with witness.
This is the section.
Yes, but now for purposes of the information, if his basis and my client titled
Code is generally just 122. It doesn't go into that, but I'm referring
to, right, and so the actual language of the statute, to be clear, says a person shall not do any of the following by threat or intimidation. Do we agree on that? In subsection 3, yes.
So the statute requires we start with threat or intimidation 2, and then
Correct.
ask you what they're trying to do with the threat or intimidation.
Correct.
Mr.
And then the
Leckie-
options include candidly.
Hold on. Mr. Leckie, you agree that that's the way the statute reads?
I'll agree, and I'll also include that intimidating behavior is calling.
The judge delivers a cold, emotionless response. You're not going to get me there. No sympathy, no hesitation. Moments later, the decision is made. Charges move forward. The courtroom realizes this is far from over.
As requested by the prosecution, AOI date is next week at 9 a.m. Anything as to bond?
Well,
12-3. That's the AOI, 12-3. What'd I say? Okay. Anything else? Good luck downtown, Mr. Roche.
oh, sorry, Judge. But briefly, just
Go ahead.
like the defendant's phone privileges to be revoked or at least his number and the explaining witness Heather and Valerie.
Do we have the ability to just block numbers? Then I will order that his number be blocked.
Both the victims.
Well, Heather said twice that he didn't know her number. So, and there's no allegation he called anybody else improperly. Would you provide, you got it. You're all right. You got, we don't need statute numbers. We just added the domestic. We're all right. Yep.
Yes, he does, to my surprise. He wasn't drunk. He was drinking. There's a day.
Okay, so your testimony, he actually wasn't drunk.
No, my testimony is he was drinking alcohol.
Okay, but you just testified that he was slurring his speech.
When did I say that?
About a minute ago, we could have the court reporter read back. So is it you retracting that statement? He wasn't slurring his speech?
I don't recall saying he was slurring his speech.
Okay.
I said that he was drinking.
Now, you testified that at some point, he, as in Mr. Roche, had both of you by the neck.
Yes.
Okay, where were you in the living room at this time?
On a love seat.
So you were sitting down on a love seat.
Well, she was sitting on the love seat, and I came to pull him off, and he flipped me this way. I was standing beside him this way with my back here, and he flipped
Okay.
me this way.
Let me break this down. Heather is sitting on the love seat.
Yes,
You are not sitting on the love seat.
not yet.
Okay. Then at some point you come to sit on the love seat.
No, I get thrown onto the love seat.
Okay. At some point, your bottom is on the love seat.
Yes,
And that's the point at which he has both of his hands on each of your necks.
yes.
And then he lets go.
After us fighting them off, yes.
Okay. And then he leaves the room, right?
Well, the difference between our room and the kitchen is open is between here and there
He walks away from you and Heather.
for the first time.
Ma'am, just answer the damned questions.
The courtroom turns intense. The defense challenges every claim, trying to break the story apart, but the judge remains cold and controlled. Then suddenly he interrupts, cutting through arguments with authority. This is where the entire case starts shifting.
No, it was 45 minutes.
Okay. So 45 minutes later, the police arrive.
Not even 45 minutes.
So fair to say you spoke with the police that evening.
What?
You talked to the police that evening, fair to say?
Yes, I did.
And hang on, I'm going to ask you the questions here. Did you call 911 or did somebody else call 911?
Heather called 911 and then I called 911.
So there should be 2 calls to 911.
Yes, there is.
Okay, and ultimately, I think a handful of officers arrived, 2 or 3 officers,
3 officers, 2 paramedics.
and they arrest Mr. Roche.
Yes,
And then you and Heather are giving statements to the officers, right?
separately, yes.
Well, in fact, you and Heather are both seated in the living room while you're talking to the officers about what happened now.
Actually, they separated us.
Okay. And if I were to
Don't
use body
see any,
camera showing that you and Heather were in the same room, that footage would be not that sound real.
we were in the same room, but when they were questioning, like doing the witness statement, no,
Okay. And you give a written statement to them?
yes,
Okay, and you signed that statement?
yes.
Now, after that evening, did you ever come into contact with the police again about this case, to talk about this case?
Only on the phone.
Okay, and can I ask, who did you speak with on the phone?
I cannot tell you the answer's name.
Okay, but you did talk to an officer on the phone. And when was that conversation? If you remember,
Years after that,
a couple days after?
yeah, the meeting just happened.
Okay, and then you also spoke with, the prosecutor, and you spoke with the officer, Officer Rice. And when you had this conversation with, let's start with, Detective Rice, was Heather there with you?
No,
And when you had a conversation with, Prosecutor Leckie, was Heather there with you?
no,
And when you spoke over the phone to whichever other Romulus PD or Van Buren PD, is it Romulus?
Romulus.
Yeah. You spoke with them on your own?
Yes.
Just a moment there. I have no further questions.
Mr. Leckie,
Nothing further, Judge.
maybe you can step down, watch you step on my ramp. Next witness. Who's gonna get Heather?
Margaret Maverick Day.
Miss Crowell, all the way up front.
Okay.
Miss Crowell, raise your right hand. Swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth today? Come on up here. Watch your step on this incline ramp. Settle in that chair. When you're ready, Mr. Leckie.
Good afternoon, Doug. Now, I'm going to ask you to speak in this microphone. It's a recording microphone, and right? Yes. So, I'm going to ask you first to state and spell your name.
Tony, HGACSGR-OWBRL-L-N.
And do you know Mr. Sean
And
is he here for?
previous,
How do you?
secret issue.
Oh. So, what's your religion?
And
And then, based on your statement of he's wearing a green shirt, I'm going to ask the record reflect the misspelling.
Noted.
So, were you heading 601 West Maple, Monroe, Michigan, 11-3, and were you there? Now, I understand there's a point in time in which, the defendant came in contact with you in that evening, you were on the low seas, right? Okay, tell us what happened.
once we see, he walked through the door. Like he called. He would just say next to me, sitting there, I told him, I said, Sean, you fucked his. That can save me. I don't know what was that on. He ended up. He. Like. Like, what's for me? It would take that. Oh,
I'm gonna stop you just there. Take a second, I'm gonna ask another question, right? So you said his hands were around your neck, correct? Like this. So you're indicating both of his hands, correct? Okay. When he was showing you, did you have a struggle breathing?
I couldn't yell, I couldn't scream. You're being.
No. You know, you're finding your elbow, and then you just speak right into that. A little part of your.
I mean, it's okay.
And so, now you mentioned Valerie, who's that?
And he's not involved. We made those saying, but
So you voted for it? Yes. Or attorneys? Yes. Okay. Now, what happened after these? Okay, you said Valerie comes out, correct?
yes.
What happened after that?
Dylan came out, fully off me. That thing I thought I looked over, and got her. Leaned up against the wall of his hand, but I was a violent perfect.
And what happened after that?
I don't know how, I can't remember how she got, I know she was trying to kill him. To release. He then lets go, pulled around there like this. I had, he had a couple. And she, I played the week.
And after that,
He started throwing stuff, crazy things. He goes into the kitchen, we got him this, town goes in, go back. He ended up going into the kitchen, opening up the drawer, and he sat a knife, finger,
and what does it do with that?
he did, like that.
So you're gesturing with your hand, your elbow bent with your hand out, and you're saying you punched your neck with it, then I got this, right? And now, how close is that?
It wasn't very close, we like up here,
And
it wasn't touching or anything.
now, after that day, have you had some?
He has calls. The
On your phone,
iPhone, his phone, because he doesn't have my phone number.
and have you answered that?
I know.
How many times did he call?
So
And what does he tell you in those calls?
he told me that he's sorry, that he loves me, he doesn't remember what happened. That he does have a alcohol problem, and he wants to get help. He didn't also try to get me not to come today.
So I'm gonna break that down. So in some of these phone calls, he said he's sorry. What's he sorry for?
For what he did,
Meaning this incident?
yes.
And then on the other vein, you said he tried to get you not to come. How did he do that?
He called me, he said, please don't go, please talk to Val about my company.
And Val is so,
So they got to say with Marguerite.
that's Valerie you talked about her. So he's made statements to you about having you not come to court saying about her. That's, okay. I don't know for that.
Ms. Pilkowitz, your witness.
Briefly, good. Ms. Crowell, Crowell,
Yeah.
will you tell me what, for Crowell, I just have a few questions for you, okay? You said that night that, Mr. Fox was drunk. Mr. Roche, wow, it's been a long week, it's only 3 days. That Sean, Mr. Roche was drunk. And it was your understanding he had just come back from the bar, right? And you knew he was drunk because he visibly intoxicated him. That includes things like slurring his speech, right? Wobbling around. Yes, not having very good hand-eye coordination. And this is obviously not the first time that you've seen, Mr. Roche drink, or be drunk. And I can see that you're getting emotional, so take a minute if you need it.
Joe. Then give you the back doors and so.
And I'm not asking if in your, professional opinion, in your personal opinion, he has a drinking problem.
Yes,
And we want him to get help.
I do.
Now, and by help, I mean treatment. Now, after the day of this incident, had you yourself been drinking jail?
I don't drink.
You don't drink. Had you yourself been using dope?
No, I only do that and I go to sleep.
Okay. And were you taking any other prescription medications all the time?
I don't.
Now, you said that Mr. Roshi called several times.
Yes.
And he actually called his own phone number. Did you answer his phone?
Yes, maybe I don't know my phone.
This might be an odd question. In the last 10 years, you have been very different kind involved with theft or dishonesty.
No. That's what is under this?
And you never sought medical attention after this. Did you call 911 or did you,
I didn't call 911.
okay.
After I had done, went up to the kitchen, grabbed her phone.
And you saw her call 911?
Yeah.
And then
Actually on the phone.
when they arrived? Okay. And about 2 or 3 police officers arrived.
Yes.
They arrested Mr. Rochette. And then they, took statements from you. And when they're asking you about what happened, you guys are both sitting in the living room. And you're kind of telling them, what happened.
Yes.
Did you sign a written statement? After that, you talked to the officer again about,
He came to the house to make.
let me pause, who's he, if you know?
Officer,
Was it this officer in the courtroom?
no,
Okay, a different officer. Was it one of the officers who responded?
he was on the scene.
Okay, and do you recall when that was?
About 9:30, he showed up. Oh,
When they came back, sorry.
the next day.
The next day? Okay. So one of the same police officers who responded around 9:30 PM came back the next day. And, did you have a conversation with him that day?
Yes,
About what happened?
yes. He had asked me if I would stop by his, make sure I was okay.
And was Val home?
She was, but she was napping.
Do you know if he talked to Val as well?
No, she didn't have.
After that, did you ever speak with Officer Rice sitting right here, Detective Rice?
No,
Okay. And you spoke with the prosecutor today?
Yeah.
And have you spoken with him prior to this incident?
yes.
Do you recall how many times?
But she was pretty fine.
Just one moment, Ted.
Sure.
I have no further questions.
I don't even judge.
Ma'am, you can step down. Watch your step on my ramp. Next witness.
Officer Rayna? Officer Rayna, I can go grab one. Or do you want to?
Inspector Julier, come on up. Raise your right hand. Swear affirm that the information containing the affidavit is true to the best of your information knowledge and belief. Come on up. How you doing?
Good, how's it going?
Good. Give me a favor. Get downstairs. Just ask one of the clerks. Make it's just, I don't need the affidavit, just the warrant itself. Tell them to get it up to me. Okay? Thank you. Be safe. Chris, come on up. Raise your right hand. Swear affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Settle it. When you're ready, Mr. Lecky.
State your name for the record.
Officer Chris Rayner.
And Officer Rayna, you're a police officer for what jurisdiction?
Right.
And were you called to a 601 West Maple, Rollins, Michigan on 11/3/2025 in the evening?
I was,
What were you called there for?
domestic involving, a possible domestic involvement.
And did you make contact, you went to the scene,
I did.
did you make contact with any individual?
I did.
And who did you make contact with?
It was a Valerie, a Heather, and a Sean. Rochette.
And when you made contact, did you do any basic investigation? What was going on? Okay, and what did you discover?
Before after he was in custody.
Before he was in custody, so you're saying, so based on that answer, someone was in custody, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, and how did that begin?
So we get the information that it's possible domestic with a knife involved. Make contact at the house. I am met by, I'll be honest with you, I can't recall which female. One at the front door, or one at the, just outside the door, one just inside the door. We were advised originally that he may not have the knife. The way the house is set up, I kind of had to, we call it cutting a pie. I had to kind of like inch my way in to try to see where he was. Once I finally was able to get eyes, he is in the kitchen area. He's behind a counter that's about the waist level, wearing a hoodie, hands in his pockets. Can't see his hands. Giving him verbal commands. I need to see his hands because they verbally told me that that the knife was gone, but I can't confirm nor deny that knife.
And you said it was a male individual?
Yeah.
Correct. And is that male individual present?
And I can just to,
Yeah, sorry.
yes.
Okay. And so you said you're verbally asking him to strike. You're verbally asking him to show you his hands, right? Oh. How many times did you ask?
Can't say for certain, but for more.
3 or more? Okay, and does he comply?
Yeah.
Okay, and what action do you take then?
So he actually got a little bit more aggressive. He, with one hand, where the counter is, he's standing up, it's covering his waist. He swipes a bunch of items, across the counter. Again, you and I know that in a kitchen area, what do you find in that area? Knives. So once he does that, he becomes more aggressive after I give him the verbal commands. I advised him, I to be honest with you, I actually advised him I was going to shoot him because I didn't know what was happening at the time. But I decided to go to my secondary weapon and I was able to take it.
And you did tase him?
Yeah.
And you say you're feeling more aggressive, what did you do?
That's, so when I advised him to show me his hand, instead of just showing me his hands like most individuals would, he aggressively swipes items while staring at me, which in that manner, then he's becoming more aggressive, more agitated with me, and completely disregarding what I was asking him to do.
I'm not the
It's Officer Rand.
Yeah.
You responded on November 3rd of 25 to the location, correct?
If that reports.
Did you ever go back to that location? Okay, when did you go back to that location?
Couple weeks later.
A couple weeks later.
Yep.
What was the nature of that call?
To check my victim. There was no call.
Okay, to check on the victim.
Yep.
Did you speak with the victim?
I did.
Did you prepare a report?
Did I prepare a report?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so, I mean, she's a witness in a prosecution, correct? And you're familiar with the Romulan Police Department policies, yes? And so whenever you're speaking with a witness, you should document that in report.
Not if it's not of any nature like that, ma'am. I went to basically console with the victim of a domestic to make sure that she was.
So you went there in your personal capacity or were you dressed in uniform?
I wasn't even.
Body cam wasn't activated?
I possibly, I don't recall if I turned a body cam on to speak with a victim to see if she was okay.
Is that the only other time that you went to the location?
Yes.
As it pertains to this case? With my, sorry, I should clarify.
Since the day that it happened, yes, it's the only.
No further question.
You stood down, Chris. Be safe. No, you're good. Oh, I said be safe.
Oh.
Happy Thanksgiving too. Next witness.
One brief last witness, Detective, Detective.
Detective, raise your right hand, swear affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Settle in. Yep. Yep. Thank you. When you're ready, Mr. Lecky.
So, Detective Rex, are you connected with a case? Well, first of all, you're a detective, what is it?
Detectives a lot of things, but in this case, it's someone that investigates crimes that from a patrol level that with the next step that takes further investigations. This case follows following the court process.
Okay. And as a part of that, what duties are you involved in? Going into the.
Actually, in this case, there was an arrest made. It's my job to put together an investigative report, submit that down to the prosecutor, investigate, and then submit it for charges. And then once they come back, follow through to where we're here now.
And in this case, are you involved in the booking process?
I am.
Okay, and describe that for.
So in this case, I'm not normally in charge of like formally fingerprinting and booking them. In this case, the defendant was brought in the evening. He had given the officers, when it came to my desk, it said it'd give him a hard time as far as like wanting to be processed, which is fingerprinting. I need that stuff to, when I submit that to a prosecutor, they want that. It's called a live scan, which in technical terms is just his fingerprints, his basically his identification stuff. That wasn't done due to his, according to the officers, his being aggravated. The bosses said that he just was not complying with anything. So before I started my investigation, I make it a habit to try and either interview them or just speak to them. In this case, I spoke to him that morning, by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when I got in, to see if he would let me process him, because that's the only way I could follow through with him. He basically told me in so many words, it's probably on video, basically fuck off, start my language. I'm not, go ahead and do what you gotta do, I'll fight you. You know, I never shy away, but this case, it said it's too early in the morning. So I did not, he was never processed that I know of, prior to this, where he is now.
And the processing is his basis of refusal, right?
Correct. It's a requirement that, for them to go to Wayne County Jail and have, basically put their ID into the system.
And in your estimate, do you know how other times you asked him to do that?
A couple, and basically explained to him, look, this is what I do. You don't get this, you may not get out. This hinders your process to get out of here. You need to be defined, you don't have to wait.
Nothing I wrote it.
Counsel, your witness. You can step down.
Yeah.
Any other prosecution witnesses? Ms. Pilkowitz, any defense witnesses? I'm ready for argument.
So I'm going to reserve for rebuttal on council on group 5.
Thank you.
I do briefly want to just discuss the
Amended? Go ahead.
after 1 second. I'm just gonna, I told defense I provided
Sure.
statutory language. I had the other half.
Yeah, and I have the jury instruction.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So speaking of jury instruction, let's start with animal first degree killing or torturing of a companion animal. According to the jury instructions, I have to prove that the defendant intentionally, intent, I'm going to argue is inferred intent based on his action where he, we heard testimony, he sat on the dog and started punching it in the ribs. He has to intentionally torture, mutilate, maim, or disfigure. I'm going to submit to the court that torturing was done in this case. He pushed this animal over, he sat on top of it, started beating it on the ribs about 4 or 5 times. And secondly, the people have to prove that the defendant tortured the animal. It was a companion animal. It was, as we heard, witness Valerie's pet. Companion animal is commonly considered to be a pet or considered by the complainant to be a pet, which it was in this case. Third, we have to prove that it caused mental anguish or distress. We saw that complainant who didn't get emotional about talking about the majority of that, get a little bit emotional when she was talking about the pet, injured. So I think the people have met that standard by a probable cause. I'm sorry. We have met those elements by a probable cause standard. The additional domestic violence count, I mean, we heard about the assaults through the strangulation, and it came out that the defendant lived with her for about 3 months, so I think the domestic violence is appropriate. It would be a third offense, which is why I have to argue it now. It actually technically is a seventh offense, but we only go up to 3. And count 8 is interfering with the witness. We have to prove that the individual was testifying. Heather did come and testify, Judge. Second, that the defendant impeded, interfered, or prevented to, or attempted to interfere, prevent, or obstruct from attending, testifying, or providing a. We've heard a testimony. Third, that the defendant intended to impede. His intention would be his conversation with Heather saying, don't come to court. I don't want you or Valerie to come to this court hearing. And fourth, that the proceeding was a criminal case charging the crime with maximum punishment of more than 10 years. Both gross bodily harm charges that he's currently charged with are over 10 years. So I think he met all of those charges beyond, or all those elements of the additional charges as well as the current charges beyond the probable